Where did you go to high school originally?
Which time?
Which time?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Which time?
So I dropped out.
Yeah, talk
Yeah.
us through that. What is your what does that look like?
So I went to Lockerbie.
Yeah. Nice.
And I don't know if you knew this about me, but I was a heavy truant.
Truant,
Yeah.
majored in truancy, I see.
You know what a truant is?
Somebody doesn't show up.
That was someone who doesn't show up. I had a truant officer checking in on me, making sure I went to school.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I dropped out.
No, no kidding.
Yeah. So then I decided the next year I was going to go somewhere else where I had a different set of friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd go to Cyber Sec.
Right on. Yeah.
Guess what I did there?
Same thing.
Dropped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your so then what is it? You're 17, 18 at this point?
I would have been 18 at that point.
What's going through your head? You're just like, no, I want to live now, or I'm like not really thinking much ahead, or what was?
I didn't like the idea of school and
Yeah.
and the shackles of it. I had the idea that I had to be a rebel too, so skipping school was cool. Drinking, doing drugs was cool.
Yeah.
Smoking cigarettes was cool. Cigarettes.
Cigarettes.
And then my dad didn't give me the option. He's like, well, if you're not going to go to school, you're going to go to work.
Hell yeah.
So he gave me a job at the bakery. Or he got me a job at the bakery.
Right on.
Weston's.
Yeah. So that was what, 18, 19, 20, roughly, or?
18-ish. Yeah, it would have been 18 when I got the job there.
Yeah.
And then I worked there for, I think, 6 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
So
so
24, yeah.
So after the first 2 years, I was like, well, I might be here a while because I don't have a high school education.
Yeah.
And like, start looking around, everyone's miserable. Everyone hates their life.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I'm not making the right decision. So then I started going back to school and working full time.
Yeah. When did you so you said about a couple years into that, and then you still worked there for the last 4 years while you made the
I did
adjustments.
4 years. It was like adult education.
Yeah.
So I went to back to Subby Sec, got enlisted in that program. It's like a faster track.
Yeah.
And I got some maturity credits, I believe.
Nice. Yeah.
So after getting into that, I was like, hey, well, I got to get this done. So give up my social life for 4 years, which was hard because it was like
That's all you kind of.
20,
That was the
21,
energy,
22,
yeah.
23. It's, yeah, you miss out on a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, it's prime social life
But
years.
it is a lot of like good hard work ethic into me and translates into today. So
What were the hours like? Remember?
40 hours a week.
Oh, nice. Just normal
It was
stuff.
sometimes it was 4/10s.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
like I'd go to school at like let's say 3 o'clock,
Mhm.
and I work from like 4:30 till sometimes 1:32.
Mm.
And then other times it'd just be like 8-hour shifts, so same kind of deal.
Yeah.
All mixed around. Usually weekends for sure, and then
Nice.
yeah.
Oh, sick. Right on. Good. Then, so you're kind of just take us through this. You're wrapping up your general, like your GED they call it, right, in the movies, I think, or even in real life. That might be actually what it is.
So it wasn't a GED.
No?
It was an actual grade 12 OSSD.
Okay.
I got my diploma out of it.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. Actually
Nice.
got credits. Actually got a diploma.
Oh, damn.
Legit graduated high school.
Legit. Dude, I did
After
it.
dropping out
Yeah.
twice.
Twice. Third time's a
Yeah.
charm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Not
So
once, not twice, but thrice.
thrice.
Yeah.
So we got you there. Now, were you kind of? It's funny though because I found the last woman I had on a couple weeks ago, Amanda. She had a similar experience where she was looking at everybody next to her and like seeing herself in them and was like, "Huh,
Okay.
like this is not really like for me, like what my path is on or what I'm doing right now." Where the only difference was she was in a very small town watching other people. Whereas it sounded like you were, like, you could see, you're like, I don't really want to be doing this for the next 30 plus years.
Right.
Like, you felt like maybe that was the only route you had, and then you're like, huh, let's make this a change.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that was I guess the TSN turning point for me where I realized that like if I can work 40 hours and go to school 28 hours a week, that's a pretty big load for like a young man.
Yeah.
And then after completing that, after I set out for my goal, and I'm like, if I could do that, what else can I do?
Yeah, why not?
So that really set the stage for kind of like the rest of my life and where we are today.
No kidding. So then it's what, about early 20s, right? About 22, 23,
23,
24?
I think, yeah, something like that.
And then were you like, I want to go to a trade job? Did you have somebody recommend something?
No, so I initially, like, I love guidance counselors. They're great what they do, but the system fucking sucks. So she told me you got two options. It's college or university. And I was like, all right, what are my options?
Yeah.
She's like, she gave me a bunch of other stuff that I didn't want. I can't remember what she suggested for me, but I'm like,
Sure.
Okay. I'm like, well, I like the idea of policing, and I like the idea of like I think X-ray tech was another one. And electrical was my third pick. I looked at policing. I'm like, if I'm gonna be a cop, I think I would have been an awesome cop.
Yeah.
But the people I was busting, I would have already had a personal relationship with. So like, I didn't want to go down that road of like
bit awkward.
Working in your hometown. It's like I don't want that. And then the X-ray tech, I don't think I had high enough grades to get in. I finished high school with like an 88 average. It was pretty decent.
Yeah.
And then electrical was the third one, so I picked electrical. So I was like, let's see where this goes.
Mm-hmm. Take us through the beginning stages of that. Like, did you? And I won't, because I'm kind of teeing you up to tell this story. Yeah. I think you know exactly where I'm going with it, because you've said it a couple times and it gets me every time. Because it helped with a buddy of mine get a job, and at least like take that advice and then apply it to even when that job was finished and he started looking for other work. Like kind of taking this mentality of it's a trade job. Show up ready to do it, not ready to start 3 days later or after the weekend, right? And so before I give away too much, take us through kind of the beginning of like getting hired and setting it all up.
Can I rewind a bit more?
Of course,
go through the college stuff?
Please.
So I took my first year electrical at Cambridge.
Yeah. Great
course, whatever. I started asking the questions towards the end of the second semester. I was like, hey, well, how does this affect my apprenticeship? Do the hours count towards my apprenticeship? No. I said, if I get an apprenticeship now, do I have to do the rest? You know what I mean? Like asking those kind of questions.
Smart.
Where the profs are like, well, you got to finish the program because they have a job and they want to teach.
Yeah, and they get paid and business.
Semantics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? After I asked all the questions, I was like, I don't feel like I need to take the other 2 years. So I finished my first year and then started sending applications out, doing resumes, hitting the pavement.
Nice.
But that was a hard road because I started off thinking I'd get a job right away.
Right.
And it ain't like that. So I was out of school for, I want to say 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
So out of school, out of work. Because at that point I had left the bakery, I think.
Right.
For the college stuff. And I didn't want to go back because I was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, go back to leave.
This is what I want to do. So we were playing hockey. One of my buddies, Mike, great guy. He's like, hey, we just had a guy leave to Foleyet.
Yeah.
He's like, you should apply tomorrow. I'm like, well, I already applied like last month. He's like, yeah, but a guy just left. He's like, you should apply. So I was like, all right. So I go in the next morning, and I got advice before that about applying for a job. Oris Stanecki, great.
Who?
Oris Stanecki.
Oris Stanecki.
Yeah, awesome teacher.
Amazing.
At Cambridge College in the electrical program.
Okay.
And he's like, if you're ever applying for a job, he's like, you don't show up in a suit and tie if you want to be an electrician.
No.
He's like, you show up with your hard hat, your work boots, your work clothes, and your lunch packed. I was like, all right. So that sat with me when I applied to the place or whatever. Yeah. So when I went the next day, DG Electric, I said, hey, you guys hiring? He's like, oh, we just had a guy leave. Come on in. I said, well, I dropped off a resume a month ago. He's like, oh, okay. And he's like, what kind of experience you got? I said, well, I got a little bit of college. I'm like, what do you need? He's like, well, have you ever bent pipe? I said, I've bent lots of pipe, which I didn't bend that much pipe, but you're trying to get in the door,
details,
right? Yeah. So he's like, when can you start? I said, well, I'm ready right now. I got my lunch with me, and I'm ready to go. He's like, well, I can't start you today, but can you start tomorrow? I said, yeah. He's like, okay, and here's the deal. He's like, if you're good, we'll keep you after 3 weeks and give you $1 raise. And he said, if not, we'll let you go. I said, perfect.
Easy.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And they hired me.
Easy.
Yeah.
On the spot.
So anyone that's applying for a trade job,
remember this, yeah.
If you're gonna apply for it, you're not going in a suit and tie.
No.
because that's not how you're going to be in the field.
No.
You're not applying to work at a bank or a financial institute or a corporation.
Yeah.
So you go in, you got clean work clothes, work boots, hard hat, and lunch.
Mm-hmm.
That shows them you're ready to work and you're ready to get your hands dirty.
There's something to be said though, right? About like you're not. There's dressing to impress, and there's dressing for the job you want.
Yep.
Right. And I think the second one's a bit more important with that type of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And if your boots are bright and shiny and clean, I don't trust you, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
That was one big one. A lot of people in school, when we're going on sites and stuff back in Ottawa, they would look at your boots. The first thing they would do, they'd be like, "Hey, you guys got steel toes?" And like a couple people would buy steel toes. I'm lucky enough. I had some that were like I think that honestly, I don't even think they were mine. I think they're like my older brothers. And
Yeah.
I was like, listen,
Sweet.
let me bruise the crap out of my feet though. But I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? Nobody made fun of me, but they did make fun of people that were like, oh, nice, nice shoes. They're nice, clean. I get a spit shine once a week, like stuff like that, right? So I was like, oh man, that's too funny. That's so good. How long do you work there in the electrical field?
So I did about a year and a bit with VG, and then the hospitals were booming at that point. Like North Bay was building the brand new hospital, Sudbury was expanding, and the union was hiring a bunch of guys off the street. So
Nice.
I got one of my buddy Mike, the guy that got me the job. He went first, and then he's like, "Yeah, it's great, better wages, benefits, pension."
Yeah.
I said, "All right." So I went to my boss at the time, and I said, "Well, can you match these benefits?" I said, "I'm loyal to you guys because you guys gave me an opportunity." And he's like, "Sorry, we can't do that for you." I said, "All right." I'm like, "Well, I'll give you 2 weeks, and then take this as my notice."
Yeah.
I think it was like 4 days later they let me go. So I was like, "Hey man, I thought I was being the better man about it, but
That's tough.
I guess
Tricky.
yeah."
But you had something lined up.
Yeah, and they took
So,
me in right away. So.
Perfect. That's easy. Nice.
And then I did that for like 12 years.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Towards the end of so after I got licensed, I was a foreman on a couple jobs, and then I had an opportunity to go into the union office. So that was, I remember talking to a guy, Teddy, I worked with, Cumber, great guy, funny guy, awesome guy. And I was like, I don't know if I should take it. He's like, not many people get opportunities like this. He's like, take it.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you don't like it, you go back on the tools. You're back where you started. No
Yeah,
difference.
yeah.
I said, all right. So I tried it, and I felt like I got really, really good at it, and I climbed the ladder pretty high, and it got to a point where I was like, yeah, it's not for me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? It was just like.
I think it's dealing with people. Majority of the people are good to deal with.
Yeah.
We'll call it the 2%ers. The 2%ers where you waste the majority of your time on.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was nonsense that I shouldn't have been wasting my time on.
Of course.
But, a lot of that wears you down over time.
Mm-hmm.
At least out in the field, like there's a lot more joking around or whatever. In the office, it's like business, politically correct.
Yeah.
Yes,
Frustrating.
I respect your feelings, even though I think you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, even though I don't really care about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not my problem.
But I have a job to do, and I'm going to do it properly. So regardless if I don't like you, I'm still going to represent you properly.
Right. It's tough though too, because it feels like nowadays more and more often that people get into those roles where they need to almost walk around on eggshells because your feelings, if they can't get things done, so they try to please everybody. In which case, they're just ruining their day to day.
But you're missing the message. It's like fuck your feelings.
Yeah.
I think if something has to be said, we're all grown ups. Just say it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're more worried about your feelings and how you react, that's a you problem.
Right. Very much.
That's how I feel anyways.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's how you feel. But
very much.
I shouldn't speak for you, but
yeah, but very much so.
Yeah.
Man, it's funny because we had a friend of ours, Rob, sat in that exact seat saying almost verbatim the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, your feelings are not my problem.
I'm not. And exactly that. Like, I'm
It's
not
amazing.
responsible for your feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's a tough thing too, because now looking at it, it's like it's a weird balance, at least for me personally. I don't know about you, or like I'll struggle between the two. The thing that's nice for me is like I have a lot more understanding and patience when it comes to like very happy it's this way. Girlfriend and then like friends I have a bit less, but I still have a lot of compassion. for those people. But where it comes to like the Muppets every day, that 2% that you talk about, that 2% that makes up 95% of the people you interact with on the job.
Take up majority of your energy,
Yeah.
your headspace.
Ridiculous. So, but then you don't see those people during the day, or you only see the 2% during the day, and then you have like, all right, how much patience and compassion do I have now for this evening side of things? There's like, we see the girlfriend that also probably has had more of a frustrating day, and then all these other things. You're like, ooh, how do we kind of navigate around that? It's a battle.
And it gets cumulative because now you're treating her like the 2%ers.
Right.
And it's like she doesn't
need that. She doesn't deserve that.
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh, but then it's like, yeah, it's a tough one.
Take your hat off at the door and forget about your shit.
That's it.
On paper, it looks good, but it's
easy.
not realistic.
Yeah, easier said than done for sure.
Yeah.
Right, but I think looking forward into that now, what did you see towards the end of your like electrical work that you were like, oh, I wanna pursue something different? Like you said, it was just like an accumulation of a lot of things, and then you're like, ooh, I need to start looking again, or did you have something in mind?
So, I love how you ask your questions. They're well structured.
I don't know what that means, bro.
It's beautiful.
I appreciate it.
So, a lot of us as kids, we grew up like, I want to be a firefighter.
Yeah, I was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might still. You never know.
Yeah, I'll help you get in.
My dog.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Yeah.
And it wasn't until my neighbor came over to help me one day, and he was helping on the roof because there was a bad windstorm in the valley one year.
Okay.
And I lost half my roof, the shingles and stuff, and he came over to help me.
Damn.
He's like,
you're in the valley?
yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Sorry about that, I understand.
Yeah.
So he's like, you're a strong guy in good shape. He's like, why don't you apply to become a volunteer?
Yeah.
So I was like, that hadn't been on my radar in a very long time. So I started entertaining it, and then I was like, well, maybe I'll go by the fire hall and see what one of their train nights is about and see if it sparks something.
Yeah.
So I watched them do a whole train. I sat there for a couple hours one night. It was Tuesday night, and I was like, I can really see myself doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So next round of recruitment they did, I applied and got in. And from there, I was hooked. Like I didn't miss any train nights. I didn't miss any calls. Like, it was hard for the wife at times because every time we'd go somewhere, I'm like, hey, well, we're taking separate vehicles because you're taking the kids.
Geez, yeah.
Because I want to, like, I'm going for this.
Yeah.
And you're not, like, there's nothing that's going to stop me.
Is it paid volunteer? How is that?
So
like
they paid on call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so they get,
Interesting.
I believe, like, for the Sudbury area, it's like, you get paid 3 hours per show up per call.
Nice.
And then you get paid so many hours for training, the training nights that you have to show up to every month.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, having I'm like, I really want this. I'm gonna show up all the training, do as many calls as I can, like, just absorbing everything, like loving everything, like the adrenaline rush, the braking stuff, the manual labor, the best way I could describe it is like, why would I waste my anatomy on sitting behind a desk when I can be something or do something greater, like, for my community and for my friends and stuff like that. So I was like, and then an open recruitment came for full time, and I was like, well, here's my shot. So I applied and I got in.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. How that was like, what, a decade ago? Handful of years?
I've been on full time for 5.5 years.
Oh,
I was
nice.
a volunteer for 2 years.
Oh, right on. Just shy of 10 years.
Yeah.
On the grind, eh?
Yeah.
Damn. I have two questions I want to ask. First, and I'll ask the second one again. But first is, do you have a favorite call that you've ever been on? And then, do you have like a teachable, like, lesson learned call where it might not have been your favorite, but it taught you the most? I'll ask that second one after, but I'm curious what your favorite one.
Favorite call.
Yeah, you could do one from volunteering, one from like full time too, if you want.
Wow.
Just to help you
I
think
have
about
to
it.
dig in the Rolodex. A lot of time, like after calls, you go through them, you deal with them, you talk about them, you debrief them till the end, and then you just kind of put
That's
them
a
away.
wrap,
Favorite call. I don't think I could pinpoint one right now. To tell you the truth.
No.
No. It's the good ones though, like the better ones, are the ones when you're there to help someone, they appreciate it. And not that we need like a thank you or pat on the back or anything, but just
Sure.
knowing that we did a good job is the favorite part of it.
Nice.
Teachable moments.
He's like, oh, how long do you have?
I got so we were in a basement fire,
Oh.
and we conditions started changing very quickly. It got very hot, so the captain said, "Okay, well, we got to get out of here." And so I threw the hose line down, and I said, "Okay, let's go." So I run into him. I said, "Well, okay, who's got eyes? Which way's out?" He's like, "I don't know where it's out." The other guy said, "I don't know what's out." So we had to call Mayday. We were lost in the basement.
Yeah.
So good part about it is that we train for that.
Right.
Part of it is like one component of our training is following a hose line out when you're lost.
Oh, okay. Hence why you bring the hose line in.
Right.
I.
So I go on my knees. I'm like, well, I threw the hose line down. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, I got the hose line. Downside about that is because we had to break the hose down and add another 100 feet to access the fire because our hose line was long enough.
Mm-hmm.
We had all that extra line pulled and coiled in kind of one spot. So trying to like follow the hose line around with two big guys standing in front of you. So it took a minute or whatever, but like getting out and stuff like that was good. But it was like, it was one of those moments where it's like, okay, don't lose your shit.
Mm-hmm.
Stay focused. We trained for this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, follow the hose line.
Whoa.
Talk to the guys. Get us out. And we got out.
Epic.
Yeah.
How I've still every time I go to your place I think of asking about this, but I've never remembered. Because you mentioned it, like your mask.
Yeah.
Is it? You said it was like you don't wear it. Like you never wore it again after that, right? Like did your mask melt? Or like, what was the condition
I think
of that?
my helmet melted a bit.
Oh, gross.
And then, yeah, it's hanging in my garage as a memento.
Yeah.
And it's funny because talking to the guys at the fire hall and stuff, but it's like the hard part wasn't going through that experience.
Right.
We got sent home as just a precaution that our heads weren't in the game or whatever because we've experienced that. Not that it was like a punishment, but just like, hey, you guys experienced something, go home and chill out. I was like, the hard part for me is having to tell my wife why I'm home early and tell her that I could have died.
I was burned up.
Yeah. So I was like, oh man, I don't want to go home.
Like, yeah. It's like those conditions were bad, and then, they only get worse when you head home to have that conversation. No thanks. Yeah, that would scare me. Man. Just, Jesus. Yeah, because then you put a bit of fear in them, you're like, it's my bad, even though it's all safe and good, but it's a real fear.
Yeah.
They could have. Yeah, no thanks. That's, no. Teachable, like, moments and all that stuff aside, how does one, what does the training process look like? Like, how do you guys update? Like, do you like certain things you need to check off every week or month that you, like, classes you need to go to, or is it like you're always training at the facility, or what?
So our training division puts out a calendar that we follow pretty religiously.
Yeah.
And it's all of our skills, like our medical skills, our technical skills, firefighting skills. So every day we have training on the calendar. So whether it be 2, 3, 4 hours, that block is set aside for training.
Oh,
while
nice.
we're on shift.
Oh, okay.
Granted, if we got a call, we put everything down. We go to the call,
yeah.
still respond. We also have 4 mandatory training days that we attend off shift in Azilda at the burn tower there.
Yeah.
Burn tower or whatever technical discipline we're doing. So we do like a high angle or water rescue or hazmat. So like downtown, so we're a high angle. High angle confined space.
Oof.
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah, yeah. No, jeez. Do you? I'm curious about when it comes to people in certain disciplines and stuff like that. Do you have, like, what do you think, in your opinion, Trev, are 3 most important skills a firefighter needs to have? Your opinion, of course.
My opinion.
Yeah.
1, to be strong as fuck.
Yeah.
2, to keep your calm, and not lose your shit and be emotional. And 3, be a team player. Not necessarily that order.
Sure. Yeah, just overall. Those. Yeah. No kidding. If you baseline all 3, you're pretty much set up to succeed, eh?
Yep.
So you had kids, kind of backtracking a bit before we jump forward. You had kids before you started firefighting, correct?
Correct.
Okay. My question, kind of taking. I'm curious which order I want to ask these in. Ooh, yeah, let's do this. In what? They're both younger, right? But not babies, right? Or toddlers. They're starting to grow up. They're starting to become teenagers. And I'm curious, how do you have two young boys, for people not knowing, don't know this. Do you, I think,
Yeah.
you know, anyways, details. But yeah, do you have any, like, how do you approach raising them to be, like, good young men and not so much kind of going towards this side of, always being upset about everything and, whatnot. So, what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
when we
for
first
sure.
started. So
For sure.
I think it's interesting because you see a lot of men, younger men, especially now, they all seem to be shaped in that way of like, in my feelings. I'm curious what you do and how you approach that.
So I believe like any good family, if you, like both your parents need to be committed to it too, right? And a lot of that is single parents and broken homes and stuff like that. So that's where I think that's where a lot of that comes from, where
It's a good point, yeah.
not having mom and dad on the same page, so the kids play both sides. But for us, I believe my wife, her job is to like be emotional, show more love, be the understanding one. My job is to teach them skills that will let them become men, so they can become men.
Nice.
And sometimes that means being hard on them, and it's not raising my voice. It's just being firm with them, and not letting them. We'll use an example, the cold tub the other night.
Oh, by the way, I don't want you to think of being rude when I'm laughing because I'm holding back. I am holding back a laugh.
All good.
But I'll tell you why. It's only because
I love it.
Trevor, man, the way you answered the question kills me. Here I am. I'm like, yeah, I'll be serious. I'm curious. And you're like, oh, talk about dynamics and stuff. And then you say something crazy. You're like, and it's like, I'm like, oh, I like where he's going with like on the same page. And you're like, it's my wife's job's to be, her job is to be emotional. And there was too much of a pause before you said the next thing. That's my fault, not yours. I know you don't mean it that way.
No.
But there was too much of a pause for me to not laugh. So I was like, oh no.
That's like the loving nurturing part.
Yeah. No, I got it. I just was like, I need to explain why I'm laughing about this so people aren't like, what does he know that I don't? It's like, no, there's too much of a gap between listed of items, So I was like, okay, I'm good. I felt that's all I need to do to mellow out. So carry on, sorry.
So you and Mike came over. We did the cold plunge and sauna, and we decided to introduce the 2-minute buy-in, where we have to jump in the cold first before we got warm.
Brutal, by the way.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Told Michael about it as you guys show up. He wasn't too happy, but
like, I'm here now. Shit.
Yeah. The youngest one loves doing cold tubs. Oldest one not so much.
Right.
2 different kids. Love them both the same. Different characters. So when it was time for oldest to do it, he came up and he said he wasn't doing it. So I was like, well, our deal was that every second time we do a sauna and cold tub, that he had to join us.
Every second? Okay,
second time. Yeah, because like I don't want to turn him off, right? But
sure.
So I was like, this is the second time, because last time I did it with Patty and he didn't do it with us.
Oh, smart, yeah.
So he was like, I don't want to do it. I didn't yell, but I had to stay on him. I was like, no, well, you're not going back inside. I said, this is non-negotiable. I said, you're doing this. And it's hard as a dad, because like, they cry and they look so beaten, and it's like, your initial response is like, I need to give in and give him love. It's like, but I am giving him love by not yelling at him, by telling him, this is good for you.
Yeah.
We said we're going to do this. We're going to do this. You committed to this, because you said, he even agreed to every second time. So I'm like, this is us being accountable to ourselves. And I said,
smart.
And this is going to help you as you become a man, because he's 12 now.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're going to start experiencing things that you don't want to do. So by doing these things that are hard, are going to make all the other stuff not as bad.
Right. Smart.
But he didn't bite right away.
Of course, yeah.
As he witnessed that. So, but he eventually did it. He eventually once he realized that he couldn't cry his way out, he got flustered. He jumped in the cold tub and then went in the sauna.
Yeah. It was cold.
It was cold.
He was in there for a bit.
Yep.
You know.
And I kept asking him, like, well, we went around the sauna. I said, Mike, how'd you feel about doing the 2 and Pine? He's like, I hated it. I'm like, good. I said, Glenn, how'd you feel?
Not great. Yeah.
Not great. I said the same thing. I said, I get anxiety every time before I go to the cold plunge. Every time. So he still wasn't, he was like, whatever, just disconnected a bit. But after, when you guys left, I was sitting down with him. He's like, I'm glad I did that, Dad. I feel amazing.
Come on.
I feel amazing, Dad. I was like, so you see, when I do stuff like that, it's not to punish you. It's to show you that it's good for you. And it's, so him saying that without me prompting it was amazing. I didn't have to say, like,
come on, how
do you feel better now compared to earlier? No, he's like, I feel amazing, Dad.
Like, he approached you with that.
I was scared. I was like, perfect.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's cool and related to you with the anxiety of the cold plunge is before I would see, let's say, a message in, like, later, early evening, like 7, right? And I'd be like, my anxiety would kick in. Then it would only get worse, and I wouldn't sleep, and then it got to a point where it was like, yeah, okay. And then it only started to kick in once I was, like, in my bathing suit with the wind hitting me, and it's like fucking minus 20. There's snow everywhere.
Yeah.
The water's still good, accessible, so you go in. You're like, well, the water's here.
The waves are crashing.
It's like dark.
It's like the worst time ever.
It's so dark.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I don't think you took a photo. I don't think nothing. We have no
nothing that day.
Video or photographic evidence.
Just our personal experience.
Yeah, just miserable, dude. And like you've definitely done more, but I've done countless, and we've done countless together, and it was still the worst one. Yeah, it's the like late November, first thing in the morning, windy. Right, waves hitting, like you're shivering. You're facing not out. You're facing towards the bay, like inside of the beach. Right, You're up to your shoulders, up to your neck, and it doesn't matter. I could have been up to my chest or my mid waist. The waves were over my head.
Crashing over my head.
So I'm like, well, this sucks. And then my hair would freeze, and I'm just getting smoked by cold water. And like it's dark, so there's no sun. So it's like, because sometimes in the spring it's like, the water's still 4 degrees, but at least we have sun pissing down on us, so it's not that bad. Right. But there's manageable. Manageable for sure. Whereas this was not quite the And then other mornings people are like, oh, it's bad. I'm like, we have sun out, or like there's no wind, or the water's warmer. No, all this time it was like every possible element that made something shitty. We experienced that, so it's fun.
It's cool that we can both relate and say that was by far the worst plunge ever.
We both agreed
and we
to
shared
it. Yeah,
we shared that moment. It's like, right on.
This is bad. Yeah, it was. I think it was just us. There's no Matt, no Pat, no.
Just
like,
me.
Sick, gangster. Before I ask the other question, before I get into dive into the cold plunging.
I like it.
And like your transformation effect with that, I do want to bounce back and go, I'm really curious. So I have a friend of mine, I'll preface this question by saying my older brother does it. One of my good friends who lives in Edmonton that Jillian and I are going to a wedding next October. I was just at their place when I was in Edmonton, and I was talking to them about it, and they made the decision to homeschool their children, like her daughter and stuff like that. Both of them, right? My older brother, the same thing. And I believe you do that as well, yeah?
Yes.
Take me through kind of what that decision process was like.
Okay.
If you don't mind. I know it's like a personal thing, but I'm like, I'm really curious.
Let's go.
Really curious. This is something we've never talked about, so I was like, ooh, I really want to know.
So let's go back to the flu pandemic, where everything was kind of up in the air and stupid, and I won't go into details on that because I could talk about hours. So all the kids were given like iPads and laptops and stuff like that. And they're expected to sit in front of a screen for 5.5 hours a day, and it wasn't good for anyone.
No.
Like, yell at your kids to stay on the screen, and then you're fighting with them after. Like it just wasn't good. Kids weren't engaged or whatever.
Of course.
So a lot of parents started complaining, which is, thank God we did, and so they started giving us the curriculum for the day. So they said, okay, these are the lessons for the day. Here is the work. You guys go. Just make sure they hand it in tomorrow or the next day or whatever, whenever it was assigned. So we sat down with the kids. We took turns. Sometimes we did it together, but for the most time we took turns.
Yep.
And it was probably an hour and a half work each kid.
Come on.
Yeah.
you would go like one and then the other, or both for the hour and a half? No, because I guess at different ages. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
So,
wow,
it really exposed that, like, I don't know, I'll probably piss people off saying this, but kids don't need to sit in a fucking classroom for 6 hours a day just to be told to shut up and sit down because they're so full of energy.
Yeah.
When all they need to learn, condensed, is this hour and a half one-on-one. But yeah. But anyways,
crazy.
So we've been doing that since the pandemic. There's part of me that wants to like send them back to school because it is work.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, like,
tough to balance. Yeah.
I can go hunting by myself, right? But my kids are at the age now where it's like, let's go hunting. So
yeah.
They're not like little babies no more. So
right. You can like do things with them, like adult things with them for the most part.
Exactly.
Sick.
And a lot of the fucking bullshit they're teaching in schools right now, my kids don't have to be part of that.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna get into that either.
No. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Completely avoid it. It's awesome. Yeah. And don't even have the discussion with them.
It's funny the discussions you have with people about homeschooling. They're like, "Oh, good for you for homeschooling, but are you worried about their social?" I'm like,
that always seems to be the one and only thing, though.
First of all, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You don't know my kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, second of all, what the fuck experience do you have with people that have been homeschooled?
Yeah.
Zero. So, my kids are social. You've met my kids. Like, are they introverted at all?
No.
What does come to every time he sees you?
Yeah, just body checks.
Body checks. Yeah.
He'll dab me up, whatever.
Kids are social. They get social interactions.
And that's with like adults they don't know or like have seen around, right?
Yeah.
Because he was like that from the beginning. So I was like, huh.
They have their own friends and stuff like that. So it's. So yeah, at the end of the day, like the pandemic really exposed that part of it, where it's like, you don't need to be in school for 6 hours.
No.
And it's the idea too that like as a parent you need a break for the day, or mom needs a break for the day. It's like, at first that's kind of where my head was at. Was like, oh, I used to be able to fucking go for a ride in the bush by myself and chill. Now it's like, why have to be by myself? Kids.
Yeah.
Like, share that experience with them, right? So.
That's interesting. I like that because it does always circle back to the social aspect. Mm-hmm. I like bugging my older brother about it. I'd be like, dude, I could tell your kid is, because I'll talk to him sometimes. But granted, that's a bit different because they're like substantially more isolated. But anyways, that's a different thing. Yeah. But I also just like bugging him, right? I just like making fun of him for anything. But I also know that kid can operate heavy machinery and he's 9. So I'm like, what's the trade-off?
What are they not learning?
Yeah, and it's like they read.
Yeah.
They do everything. Like,
do they
do
need
everything.
to learn about what happened to Alexander Graham Bell? Who gives a shit?
They don't care. I'm like, here's the thing too, man. That's weird. Is there's a lot of stuff back then that I don't even remember. I think it was a waste of time. And then there's stuff that I was like not interested, that I now am interested in. That was the exact same. You couldn't gun to my head and get me to do like multiplication tables, but then I've done it as an adult just so I can be quicker at math, because I know how beneficial that would be to help. Like everyday construction or numbers or money, right?
When you want to learn something, it's amazing. When I went to high school the first time, I don't think I got like 40% in math.
No kidding.
When I went back and adult then, I think I was like nothing below 90.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Once you want to do something, you excel at it. Once you want to like learn it,
it's easier
which helped as an electrician, as a firefighter. Like,
right.
Having that math background helps with testing and stuff like that too. So.
Do you think that? Do you guys have an aptitude test?
Yep.
Yeah. What's that look like?
It's a general aptitude test.
Yeah.
There are some questions that are fire related.
Yeah.
But for the most part, when I wrote it was just general aptitude. So,
no kidding.
Like math, fractions, decimal. It's all long division, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Verbal passage, cognitive reading, like. Yeah. It's just a general test. And the only way to practice for those are just by doing other ones.
Just being smart.
But like for math and stuff like that, like practice your fractions, practice your long division, practice your long multiplication.
Yeah.
If you get good at that, that'll save you time on the other questions where you have to like read a paragraph then answer questions after.
Right.
So.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely like a tactical way to write a test.
Yeah. Just
spend more time on the stuff that you're not good at, but the stuff you're good at, smash it out of the way first, give yourself confidence and momentum, and then you got more time after. Because they're time tests, right? So you usually get like an hour and a half.
Huh, okay. Cool. Do you, moving on and stuff like that, I want to circle back to your transformation with cold plunging and having the effect that's had on you, because we've talked about it a couple times in the past, but I'd really, really like to know a bit more about, like, I like the story of it, I like the idea of the transformation of it, and I like how you've gotten not only me into it more, not only like Pat more into it, and a bunch of like guys into it, some into it and then some out of it, and then
pussyfooting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's and then there's other people into it, like not forcing, but like coaching other people into it, kids doing it and stuff like that, and I think there's only good that can come from all of that, right?
Right.
And so take us through kind of when you first got introduced to it to your journey through it. I know we've talked about it before, but
Want to hear it again?
I'd like to hear it, yeah.
So our good friend Christian decided one day, like, hey, in the new year we're going to be going to Al's place and doing this like a Navy SEAL training. He's like, how you feel about cold water? I said, I fucking hate it. I do not enjoy it. No. He's like, hey, well, you're going to do it with us. I said, okay. I trust the guy with my life. I said, yeah, let's go. He's like, hey, we'll do a little workout in your bathroom. He's like, so I think we did a minute. So like while one guy was in the pure cold shower for a minute, one guy was doing like push-ups, sit-ups,
Sick.
planks,
Yeah.
and any type of exercise. So we did, I don't remember how many rounds, but it was just to get kind of used to like that uncomfort of like the cold.
Yeah.
And then comes the day where we do the SEAL training. I still hated it.
Yeah.
I still didn't like it. But for a couple weeks I was doing like cold showers here and there.
Okay.
Not the same like jumping in a lake with ice.
No, a bit different. But.
So we get there, a bunch of guys, and we all link arms and go in the water. And I can't remember, I think it was like a minute in or 2 minutes. I can't remember the exact time. A minute or 2 minutes in, and then 10 minutes out. And when we were out for those 10 minutes, we'd be doing some sort of exercise.
Sure.
I was fucking hyperventilating. I couldn't calm my breathing down like at all. I was in pain.
Mm-hmm.
Like my feet were burning, my fingers were burning. But I was locked in with guys, so I was like, well, if no one else backs out, I can't back out. But if one motherfucker quits, I'm gonna follow them.
Yeah.
No one quit. So I was like, shit.
But you didn't quit either.
But I didn't quit either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't
Don't be that guy.
Don't be
Don't be that guy. Regardless if you're trying to like prioritize sleep or anything. So I think it was after the last round or whatever, I was back. So like there was a sauna there. So like we took the precautions.
Yeah. You're so good at it. Like I'm like, I can't let him like you just roll over it. I'm like, what the.
So people are like, oh, what are you gonna do if someone goes hypothermic? It's like, well, we have a sauna there that is lit, that is 100 degrees.
Yeah.
So we're still checking in on guys. If someone loses consciousness, like all those safe things are there to protect the guys. If someone was to go down, we'd fucking get him in the sauna.
Yeah.
Call 9, like, you know what I mean? Like all that stuff was kind of ready. But we're in the sauna, and to this day, I was like, yeah, my feet were burning, and I was like, oh, it hurts. Motherfucker, I was crying. I was in so much pain because they hurt so much.
Jeez, yeah.
But it was
It's a lot.
completing that was like, holy fuck. Like, I didn't bitch out. I did it with a bunch of people. Like, it felt good, and I felt great after.
Nice.
Not just the completion of it, but just like how my body felt after. It's like the blood pumping. And
Oh, it's
like
insane.
it's not like cocaine, but just kidding. That shit. Doesn't smell like cocaine.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Epic, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then from there was I got like addicted to that feeling of how great I felt after.
Yeah.
You know, being a big guy and working out and being very physical, like the joints are always sore, the muscles are always sore, so like getting in that cold was like, all right, this is fucking shitty as hell for a couple minutes. I get out, I feel like $1 million.
Yeah.
Why would you not keep doing it?
Yeah.
So
There's a return on it for sure.
then I bought a stock tank.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing that outside my house. And then I think it was springtime. You guys had found the spot at the water sports.
Yes, sir.
And man, that was an awesome spot. So going there was fucking epic.
That was my first intro to you.
Yeah.
I swear to God, yeah, it was crazy.
That's right,
I was
eh?
like, oh yeah, and then I was like, oh man, I remember being on the phone after, and like, what was I saying? I was talking to Joe, and or something like that, or I was driving Joe home from the gym or something. Anyways, like that, we were at the gym, and I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, that was a little. He's like, that was a lot, and I was like, yeah, man, this Patty had to invite this fucking Trevor guy, and I was like, all of a sudden, I was like, shit, doing this, and it was like, oh, we're gonna link up, and I was like, I see them run in, and I was like, I saw Trevor run and dive in, and then Patty followed, which was like. He wasn't doing that when we were plunging before, so when he did it after you, I was like, oh, so this is how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well, but then I took the same approach. I was like, okay, well, these guys are, and it's not gonna be me. It's not gonna be that guy that quits or something.
You want to talk
crap.
about how you guys were doing it before?
Yeah, so we've been doing it for, good point. We've been doing it for about a year, and I think that was the earliest we had ever, or no, it was at that point the earliest we had done it. It was like early May. We had done it. Like the water had just completely like got out, right? And it was great. But we had been doing it where we've been doing like up to our belly buttons, or we would like do a jump in and then jump out.
Right.
So it's like we'd be up to like our mid waist belly button,
Which is still good.
Yeah, for like 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'd hop out. And I just remember being like, every time I was like, I want to do this, I want to do this. It was miserable. Then I was like, ooh, my legs feel better. I was doing more for like helping with like muscle recovery.
Right.
And so doing it like for 11 minutes didn't make sense to me. But then doing it, learning more about it as it became more of a fad and stuff after the fact, and then doing it with you guys, and then like to your point, man, it was seeing how good and how helpful it was for me, and what I was able to do or feel after the fact. I was like, oh, you know, maybe this isn't too bad. And then it doesn't have to be like a chanting thing every time, but it's like, oh, we're going in, we're doing it together, drink the coffee together. Coffee tastes better when it's like,
when you've earned it.
Yeah. When you've earned it right after the cold, and I'm like, oh, this is awful, but it's great.
Yeah. How many good chats do we have after that?
Amazing. Yeah. Countless. And I think it's primal. You're kind of stripped down to like a very raw form of you that we're both struggling. You're suffering really bad, and you're like, you can't really like, you can fake a lot of stuff and like tough your way through, poker face your way through a lot. It's very difficult to poker face your way through like not being cold, miserable, being cold. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like you're cold and you're like, no, I'm doing great. It's like, dude, I see your teeth.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
It's like, just say it. Yeah. So it kind of like forces you to like, you shed that last layer of vulnerability, and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. That's what it is.
That's what I like the approach sometimes. Like some days I could walk in and just be like zen. I'm like, breathe, everything's fine.
Yeah, man.
But there's other mornings where I'm like, I gotta fucking scream. I gotta yell like a good fuck or shit, or like just to pry myself. And then once I'm in the zone, I can chill.
Yeah.
But there's sometimes where I'm just like, get out of my fucking head. Fuck off. Like, you know what I mean? Like you gotta do something.
Yeah.
You gotta do something.
I want you to start putting like, you have two stools, not step stools. You have 2 stools right underneath your hooks in front of your sauna.
Yeah.
I want you to take them and put them 2 feet to the right, in front of your in front of your tub. I want you to, before you even step on the stairs, I want you to hit start on that camera, and then throw your stuff, turn the light on, get up, walk in and sit and start the timer.
Okay.
The whole time, let it play itself through, do the 2 minutes, or just look at it and be like, 2-minute buy-in, get in, it's all quiet. Fuck! And then just the whole time, like, you do anything like that, I just genuinely think just literally just hit record and go through it.
Okay.
I think with the red, that'd be sick.
I'm in.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do. It'd be the most simple, authentic way to do it. And I think just once a week, Instagram, whatever.
Done.
Doesn't matter to me where.
Done.
I'm like,
help me stay accountable to that.
I will.
Yeah.
I will, because I think you do it like that's very much how you're authentic, and it's something that's, if everybody's doing cold plunges, what makes you authentic about it is everybody's kind of like, honey dicking their way through it, right? Or they're just like, how can that? Oh,
dude,
this it's
like
7 degrees.
It's a
I'm
fucking
gonna do 3 minutes.
And the fucking mittens and the fucking hot cocoa.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. Like,
it's like you're not even in
fucking
the water.
there to fucking actively suffer. You're not there to be comfortable. Be in the fucking water. Let the water do what it's gonna do, and then fucking get out. And then you can have your fucking coffee. But don't try to like forget that you're in the cold by sipping on this hot coffee.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, you're there for a reason.
Yeah,
what's your purpose? What's your purpose for doing that? You know what I mean?
I'm gonna clip this part, release it after you've done like 3 or 4 of those videos, and then
Perfect.
I
I
say
love
do
it.
it as like a challenge
love it.
thing, because I can't do it now if you have like one or two, if you have a handful of photos, but videos, if you just,
Right.
it's like a minute. You just walk in, and sit. It's just you sitting quietly. You can say nothing, or you can say, like you said, like, felt more primal today, and you just scream the whole time,
Yeah.
right? That'd be awesome. No tooth, no nothing, just right away you dunk in.
Yeah.
It bugs me how easy you do it. But then I think of that, and then I take friends of mine who haven't done it, that are like tough MMA fighters, right?
Right.
Like as tough of like a group or breed of people as I know, and they're like screaming, like, and they can't calm down
Right.
over the 2 minutes, and then they eventually get in that, man, that was awesome, and I'm like, this, or like, man, you're insane, I don't know how you do this. It's cold, but how are you?
You just gotta get
It's
comfortable.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's actually a crazy shift, and like you said the other day, I was like, it's tough to really understand that your body is almost craving it and needs it, and then yeah, when you stop doing it, I'm sitting there like, I should really, I should start doing this more. And then luckily I've been cold showering the whole time, like,
Yeah.
because it just helps me sleep better. So
Right.
super important. But definitely do that. Definitely do it once a week. Dude, just right there,
Yeah.
Even just have it go, and then your kid does it, and then you do it, whatever. If you're doing
Yeah.
it with him,
10-4. I'm
you
in.
know, it'd
I'm
be
in.
sick. Then the other one would like it because he sees what's going on. He's like, oh, this
Exactly.
is sick,
More buy-in.
Yeah.
More buy-in.
More buying, baby. It's
But
like an 11-minute video.
On your point to like the MMA fighters and stuff like that, it's all about getting out of the head. If you're in your head and you're like, it's cold, I'm hyperventilating, they're not listening to you.
No.
If you can, like, I don't know if you notice when I do, like, I look at them, I'm like, look at me, like, breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, and just let them know that you're engaging them.
Okay.
And then there'll be a calmness about them where they're like, this guy's got me, so I'm okay.
Yeah.
Because I know what you mean, like,
Yeah.
it's like,
And they're just fighting through it. Yeah.
it's like you're
that's
flexing your muscles. Like, you can flex and hyperventilate all you want. That cold's still gonna be cold. So
Yeah,
you
it's
just gotta
gonna
do
suck.
what it's gonna do.
Accept it, eh? And you, so, you got the whole, the electrical, the firefighting, and kind of shifting gears a bit. What I want to know is, because we've talked about a bunch of different things. We talked about like raising young men and stuff like that, and how you like challenge them in different ways based on their personalities and stuff. Are you able to list, you think, maybe 5 habits? I was gonna say skills, because I'd be curious to hear what you'd have to say for both, but 5 habits that men should develop as quickly as possible. Because I've asked people skills before, but I'd be curious what you think habits would be. Good habits would be for.
So I'd say one would be integrity. If you're gonna say something, follow through with it, regardless of how outlandish it sounds. But if you're gonna say something, do it. What actions? Sorry, what was the other part?
It was five habits. Yeah.
Habits.
Yeah, they should develop.
Workout
that
regimen.
Yeah.
Two. Be strong. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to, lift 2 bags or 2 sandbags or 2 5-gallon pails of water.
Yeah.
Like my 9 and 12-year-old can do it. So
Hell yeah.
And be strong. Read.
Mm.
It's a good skill that a lot of us sometimes don't because
Yeah.
of social media and everything.
Good
And we've
point.
talked about that before. Even
Yeah.
myself, like I've listened to podcasts. So I just started reading again, which is
Nice, good. Yeah.
it's harder. It puts you to sleep quicker. But
Yeah, man,
hey,
I'll do the same thing. I'll like drift in, drift out, get
Yeah.
addicted, buy 3 books, read one, and then stop. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always have a purpose. That's a good one.
Mm.
Have a goal. Have a purpose. Just that way it keeps you on track for doing all the other things. And the other one would be eat right and drink lots of water.
hell yeah.
Eat clean.
Eat clean.
Yeah.
Nice. Right on. Do you have any kind of last minute, like, or final, like, lessons, pieces, or things you want, like, maybe to be remembered by from the episode, or just kind of
What about like 3 books? Like what are 3 books that you like to read that you'd suggest to people?
Me?
Oh, you're supposed to ask. I'm glad I'm going to ask Trevor that. All right, so
What 3 books do you think are
3
more
books?
important? Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody or just
1.
men?
Warrior the Superior Man.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 1.
Yeah, David Dita.
Awesome fucking book. The 4 Agreements.
Yeah.
Was a Ruiz or something like that, or Luis. And Atomic Habits.
Nice. That's a good one.
3
Good one, too.
powerful books that can guide any person through
Any person, really.
anything.
Yeah. Helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4 Agreements is the one I haven't read. Of the 3 of those.
It's a good book.
Yeah.
It's a quick book too. It's not a very
It is.
big one.
Yes. Okay.
And your question was, sorry, I was trying to take your
No,
jam
it's all good,
there.
dude. It's,
The
it's your
three
episode. You can
bucks.
do it. Yeah. I'll change the name of the show for this one.
Yeah.
But what's it called? Yeah. Kind of like some final message, lesson, story, whatever, to round out this episode, encapsulate what it was, and
I think one of the best things for me, and like message or whatever, was like when I learned that I could do hard things. So like I said, doing the high school after I dropped out and working at the same time. Like once I realized I could do it, that kind of like pushed everything in life like ahead, where it's like I could do whatever the fuck I want as long as I put my mind to it. Cliche Back to the Future. Put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
Yeah.
It's fucking true. You know.
Yeah. Very much so.
Within reason, but
very much so. Yeah, there's definitely variables that come into play with certain things, but for the most part, yeah.
And things in my head like don't be a little fucking bitch. You know, like.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Get accountability partners. Be open with men. Like do stuff with other men. For the guys, girls can gossip and do whatever the fuck they do. Throw a tampon on them. Yeah. Heyo. That's why they call it overreact. That's why we're overing it. All right, I'm gonna stop. I also want to sign this table because I see everyone's signature.
I'm gonna put a disclaimer on it that says, "Women, please don't watch the episode."
Yeah, no.
But
I've
no,
nothing but respect for
Obviously,
women, and I love women. But yeah, some of the jokes are too funny not to share.
Too funny not to share. Yeah, that's a good one. That's my favorite one. I said that to some people and they've been like, amazing.
Another thing that resonates with me, the episode you did with Rob, and what he said, be unapologetically you.
Yeah, that episode did well.
That resonates with me because like a lot of my life, I was like, oh, I'm gonna play small because, you know, I don't want to take away from someone else, or I'm worried about how they're gonna be. It's like, motherfucker, I'm funny, I'm cool. Like, why would I not share that with the world?
That's helped me, yeah, absolutely. That episode alone has helped me just in general, like sitting down and talking to him. It's the biggest cheat code in my life is doing the podcast.
Yeah, man.
It's like, how do you reach, sorry, Trevor has this thing that he does. Bro, you have this thing you do is like, you'll just send the Yemen flag, and it drives me up the wall. Because the first month I didn't know what the hell it was. I just let it out. I'm like, oh, cool. I don't know what this means, but I didn't want to act stupid, and I was like, what? You're like, Yemen. Yeah. And I was like, oh.
Motherfucker.
Another Justin situation. Got him. Damn it. But yeah, anyways, that episode did really well. I got a lot of, like, you know, it's you guys in your late 30s and 40s with Facebook that are just, I'm like, oh, that's why it's doing well. But it's cool to see that there's, like, a lot of positive feedback, and that message alone, as well as this one you're sharing, it kind of helps everybody round things out, and it allows you to like take on challenges, and you know, even if you set goals and you look to follow through on them and things come up, doesn't mean the goal ends. The deadline might just change,
right? Which
is fine, right? It's like, but for you to say no, I want to do this, and then just never do it or never try. It's like maybe you tried and then things happen, and like, you know, life happens and things happen. Maybe it happens the following year, or in the next, like, maybe sooner.
Life isn't a space shuttle launch.
Oh God, no.
It's not planned out perfectly. Some people have that gift where they can plan it perfectly.
Yeah, it's great.
But that's not majority of people.
No, especially if you're trying to do a lot of different things.
Stick to your guns and give it time, and
hell yeah,
it'll happen if you want it.
Where can people find you? Where can people like reach out? Where can they learn from you, connect with you, and all that fun stuff?
I work downtown at the firehouse. So if you're overdosing downtown, or you get in a car accident, or hopefully you don't leave a pot on the stove, or need CPR done, or whatever, I'm a public servant, and I love my job, and I love seeing people in public.
Nice.
Instagram Trev88, and I have a Facebook account, my name, and
nice.
Yeah, and anyone interested in joining the cold plunging community, let me know, and I'll coach anyone.
Yeah,
if anyone ever felt like uneasy, and actually that's something I think we talked about too before, is like maybe starting something where like if you're at home and I'm at home and we're not going to the lake today, you get in your tub and I get in my tub, we'll FaceTime each other.
That's sweet. Yeah. Going the extra mile.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a fun one. Like a group.
Yeah.
Group chat and be like, hey.
How many people on a Zoom call or whatever?
A handful for sure. That'd be nuts. nuts.
Yep.
Get that going, man.
Yeah, man.
Get that going. Yeah, man.
I got my work cut
Yes,
out
sir.
for me.
Yeah. Once you get the videos going, build that in, and be like, hey, this is what we're doing. You know, going on live. Everybody live, getting your cold tubs. You know.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's a
Don't be a bitch.
yeah. Let's So you sign this, we'll outro it. But that's yeah, man. I really appreciate your time today.
Oh, thanks for having me, dude.
Being
This is
as
awesome.
open as you can, and
I'm not gonna write
Share as
anything
much as you
because
can.
it might be offside, so I'm just gonna sign it.
I appreciate that. Thank you.